This moment, Graham Platner's campaign is fending off yet another accusation. The Washington Post reporting new allegations of sexual misconduct against Maine's Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate. We have to give you a warning here today. The descriptions are graphic. According to the Post, Lindsay Fifield, an ex-girlfriend of Platner, says he, quote, repeatedly removed protection without her consent when they were having sex, end quote. His campaign says that's categorically false. Fifield tells CNN she's concerned about Platner holding office.
It terrifies me to think of him having any type of power politically, because what is he going to do with the women in his office? How is he going to manipulate? How is he going to deceive?
Former allies are now saying they want to see a new candidate take over. One of Platner's most high-profile backers, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, is urging him to step aside. Maine Democrats accuse Platner of trying to meddle in the replacement process, which he denies. Last night on The Takeout, Senator John Fetterman had strong words for Platner.
What's the appeal? Yeah, just saying a lot of extreme far left kind of things. Anybody can do that. He had no record. He had no actually demonstrated, that he, is actually fit to be in the United States Senate.
CBS News' Jarred Hill is here with us in studio to discuss the latest on this campaign controversy. Jarred, good morning. There's a new allegation each day. What do we know?
Yeah, and lots of new developments every day and every moment, really. At this very moment, though, Errol, what we know is that Graham Platner is holding on to the Democratic Senate nomination in Maine. While he doesn't have a lot of time to decide what's next amid these new allegations, there's a dispute about the process of picking a possible replacement. Plummeting support for once rising Democratic star Graham Platner amid new allegations of sexual abuse.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race.
Late Tuesday, the Washington Post reported Lindsay Fifield, who says she dated Platner over a decade ago, told the paper he would pull condoms off. He wouldn't tell me. This after another woman, Jenny Rassicott, told Politico the now Senate candidate was almost blackout drunk when he came over to her house uninvited in 2021 and forced her to have sex with him.
He violated multiple layers of consent that night.
Platner on social media Monday.
Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
While Platner weathered the Democratic primary despite numerous controversies, he's now lost nearly all of his big-name supporters, including Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and the trust of would-be voters.
It feels like you have somebody that's finally going to speak for the people, and that is getting people behind him and wants to make a change, and then it's maybe more of the same.
Maine's Democratic Party also joining the chorus.
Graham Platner must drop out of this race so that Democrats in Maine can focus on defeating Susan Collins this November.
Platner has until Monday to leave the race in order for the Maine Democratic Party to pick a replacement by their deadline of July 27th. The party promising a transparent and inclusive process if Platner steps down. Well, at least one Democrat has already filed paperwork to potentially replace Platner. Meanwhile, the party is accusing Platner's campaign of trying to put their thumb on the scale in this process. The campaign says Platner just wants to make sure that voters have a say. Errol.
All right, Jarred, thank you. We'll continue to discuss this now with Adam Green. He's the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. He joins us now. Adam, good morning. We want to play some sound of Senator Fetterman on CBS yesterday. Listen to this.
I remain fascinated with the left just quickly just got all in for this total dirtbag, and I mean, it's not like, how did we not know this was going to happen? I mean, he is a liar.
What do you make of that?
Well, speaking of total dirtbag, I don't think John Fetterman has clean hands after how he's behaved in the Senate, siding against the people consistently. Look, we're at a place where everybody wants Graham Platner out of this race. And we're at a place where Graham Platner would have been out of this race if it was not for the incompetence and arrogance of the Maine Democratic Party, which put out an outrageous video last night, basically saying, we have a secret plan to choose a nominee, but we're not going to tell you until he's out of the race. Let me tell you something. Maine voters came to the polls in literally record numbers. It's never happened in the history of Maine before to choose someone who was not the leader of the Maine Democratic Party, the governor. She got trounced by about 70% to about 20-something%. And that was the voters saying, we want a non-political insider as our nominee. And the Maine Democratic Party should make clear this morning what the process will be. Will their quote unquote open and transparent process be a couple hundred Democratic Party insiders in a convention room deciding who the nominee is, or will it be a caucus site in every county where every Democratic voter can vote? There is a huge spectrum there. And it is reasonable for Graham Platner, as his last act, even though nobody wants him around anymore, to say, I'm willing to leave, just assure the public they will have a voice. And that has not happened yet. The Maine Democratic Party needs to get their act together.
There's also some criticism for the consulting firm that brought Platner forward, that they should have caught through vetting some of these allegations. Who then should be the person you want to see replace Platner? Who out there could rally the support of Maine's Democratic voters?
There are many people who can beat Susan Collins. And first and foremost, there should be a fair process that is seen as legitimate by the entirety of Maine Democrats so that there is full support for the eventual nominee, not a creeping sense that the Democratic Party insiders chose someone. There are names out there. Troy Jackson is one that you mentioned. Shenna Bellows, the Secretary of State of Maine, is great. This guy, Nirav Shah, who people don't know much about, but he's in the mix. The real question is not who should the person be right now. It's will the people have a chance themselves to do one final vetting and one final choosing and come out unified? And right now, the Maine Democratic Party is the biggest stumbling block to actually getting this done. Graham Platner could have been out yesterday, should have been out yesterday, and Maine Democrats, again, are saying, we have a secret plan, we won't tell you until he's out. That's outrageous. They should change that tomorrow.
It does appear to be a mess. Adam, thanks for joining us to discuss this today. We appreciate it.